Is Apex slowly making a comeback? That's been the topic of the day from some of the bigger Apex streamers and content creators after Respawn released their patch notes for the new update. But what are in these patch notes that make them say that? No, surprisingly enough, it's not a paycheck. I actually do agree that it's a little fun. So this is not a video about the patch notes. If you want to see what the patch notes are, go somewhere else. They're really not even that big other than the fact of like 3 or 4 things. So I want to go over those things and how certain people reacted to them and whether or not we truly think Apex is, quote, making a comeback. So the Beast Mode event got a trailer that you could see in the background. This is some of what you would expect. Obviously new skins, new items, and all that stuff coming, but they also dropped the patch notes with them. Some of the quick things we can get out the way. Yes, ranked got an update. They'll advertise that, but it really wasn't that big. Just changed the scoring a little bit where kills, assists, and participations after 8th will now be worth 50% instead of after 6th place. And some of the rank reset rules are a little bit different as well. But one of the bigger things that people were going crazy over were the skirmisher class perks. And just in general of this whole patch notes, it was about movement. Movement seems to be back. Apex seems to be all about movement again. And I think they got wind of this when we all started liking the Ash new abilities. And obviously we were a little upset when they toned it back a little bit, but the new skirmisher class perks are as follows. You'll have Trailblazer, which receives a speed boost when sprinting towards an ally skirmisher. An ally must be within 20 meters away. Charged knock, also this is a big one. Skirmishers gain an extra ability charge and 50 HP regen on knock. That's going to be massive here. Also, extra charge lasts 30 seconds or until used. Also applies to all skirmisher legends, tax except Octane, who gains extra ult charge instead. HP regens health first, then shields if applicable, and is interrupted by damage. Then past the classes, you had individual buffs as well. Wraith now has the original third-person run animation that has returned, and then Into the Void has had a cooldown reduction to 20 seconds instead of 25. Tac activation time has decreased to 0.8 and it used to be 1.25. So popping that tactical is going to take nearly half the time that it used to. That's pretty crazy. Also can now exit from the void at any time by pressing attack or tactical. That's also really big. So that means people can't chase you down and just time when you're coming out of the void. I think that's awesome. Wraith is going to be back. Dimensional Rift, also that's her ultimate cooldown, has decreased to 2 minutes and 30 seconds instead of 3 minutes and now ramps up to max speed much faster when using ult. Level 2 upgrades also had a change where ult cooldown now reduces to 1 minute 30 seconds instead of 2 minutes, and level 3 upgrades where fast phase now decreases tag activation by an additional 30% instead of 20%, and this reduces the activation time to 0.5 instead of 1. This is going to be crazy. Like insta phase is back with Wraith. This is going to be wild. Tac cooldown now reduces to 15 seconds instead of 20 seconds. That is your Wraith changes. So we're not there yet, but just imagine how all of these big streamers reacted to that news alone. So Revenant also is in the news for the same reasons. A really big buff. Assassin's Instinct, where allies now see the health tracking marker like Revenant, obviously when they're low. Also, Shadow Pounce, activation time reduced by 30%, cooldown reduced to 20 seconds where it was 25 seconds. Forge Shadow's ult shield HP increased by 25, and upgrades level 2 where Murder Machine has been removed and is a new Try to Hide where it doubles the duration of the passive mark when getting enemies to low health. Upgrades level 3, Grim Leaper removed, and new Agile Assassin where it reduces Shadow Pounce activation time and charge time by half, and tac cooldown now reduces to 15 seconds instead of 20. And probably the last big buff I want to cover, because this was in the conversation once again from some of these big streamers about the whole is Apex back, and you can skip past this, by the way. I just feel like I've got to address this because they did. This is the altar buff, another massive buff. What is that? Well, Void Passage now has 2 charges. Maximum portal depth increased to 30 meters instead of 20. Cooldown reduced to 20 seconds instead of 30. And attack cooldown plus upgrade integrated into the base kit now. Health bars shown on enemies after going through your own Void Passage, and Void Vision upgrade integrated into the base kit as well. Maximum length of Void Siphon created from ceilings increased to 45 meters and it was 30 meters. Also now created when placing unreachable portals on walls with a maximum length of 20 meters. Placement review now shows where a Void Siphon will be created if there will be one. Void Passage also briefly highlights enemies on the other side immediately after placement. Void Nexus, obviously the ultimate, now reusable with each player having their own 30-second cooldown. 2 can be active in the world at the same time, integrated part of the multi-dimensional upgrade in the base kit. Interact directly with the Void Nexus to, quote, summon your knocked allies, and summoned allies can move and use their knockdown shield. Ult is otherwise not interactable from a short distance, making it easier to revive a squad mate without accidentally triggering the Void Nexus. Gift from the Rift can now grab banners when using passive on a squad mate's death box. And here we go into the upgrades. Level 2, Ringmaster and Void Vision removed, and there's 2 new ones. One's Friends, and it gains all support perks, access to support bins faster, revives with health regen, and game MRB with banners, works with Gift from the Rift as well. And then another one, New Eye to Another World, where you gain all recon perks and access to recon beacons, gain threat vision and ADSing. Level 3 upgrades, of course, multidimensional and tactical cooldown removed. We talked about some of these going in the base kit. All right, so new ones, Void Breacher. Using a friendly Void Passage grants move speed and improved reloads. Also a new one. Staring into the Void. Void Passage scan duration plus 15 seconds for alter last duration of the Void Passage. And note, scan requires line of sight to enemy from the portal exit and the portal entrance for alter. So long story short, the game just got goofy and fun and crazy and wild and probably overpowered for some of these legends. But let's get back to the point. Apex is not in a spot where it really needs perfect and proper balance. Yeah, I said it. You probably disagree. Whatever. But Apex has been struggling for a while to keep people entertained. Unless you are a die-hard Wolfpack blood brother for this game, you just simply play other games at this point. Most of you watching at this point are probably diehard Apex fans, so I get it. You're probably going to disagree. But as far as the mass is concerned, those people just aren't coming to play Apex like they used to. There's probably a handful of you that simply watch my videos just for Apex updates, but you probably are playing other things for the most part. Well, an update like this is what gets people back involved. And a title like this is what may attract someone that doesn't play Apex as much back to try it again. This is the comments that you're getting. Snipe Down saying, Apex is back with these Legends patch notes because they are incredible. And here's all the reasons, right? We talked about the Wraith, the Revenant, the Alter buffs. There are some weapon buffs in there. I don't think they were necessarily as massive, but the synopsis is the game should be wonky and fun again. There's movement involved. And Snipe Down seems to be one to agree. Imperial Hal also saying, is Apex slowly making a comeback? Albrelelli also commenting that the P20 and 3030 are going to be a problem, but Wraith is back, so that's cool. Also, if you care, Solos is back for a limited time mode. So imagine how fun Wraith is going to be on Solos mode. Just in general, man, using Wraith is going to be a lot of fun when you're just solo queuing, because it's like one of the legends that you can probably depend on the most to keep you safe and trust on your own skill. Now, to add to that, I also thought it was cool that Verhulst also tweeted that he felt like the devs have been doing a pretty good job lately. And then you actually had one of the developers themselves, Pav, say that they had some pretty exciting things that were still in the works that they couldn't share yet. So it's only going to get better. I don't know. It definitely feels like the tone is shifting a little bit in the Apex community for the better. Look, for what it's worth, I'm always been a critic of Apex because I just want the game to be good again. But I got to give acknowledgement to when I feel like they make a decent update. This update and the patch notes that I'm seeing make me want to try the game again, solely because of Wraith. I'll be honest, I just want to play Wraith. So I'm excited. I'm interested to see if you guys are buying into it as well, or if you're still like on the edge. No, screw this, it's over. Interested to see what you have to say. Like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the scene. Until the next time, I'll see you all later.